What's up, guys? It's Crash, and man, it's been a long time since I've been able to make a video, and it's been even longer since I've been able to talk about Battlefield on the channel, but here we are. I very much missed the lead up to this game and covered it with you guys. We had a ton of fun with Battlefield 2042 in the lead up to that game, but life has been insane. If you followed along on the Twitch channel, you guys kind of know what's been going on behind the scenes with my family and my health and stuff like that, but I'm still around and I still want to get to my computer whenever I can, and I just had to carve out some time to talk about Battlefield. And even if nobody finds this video, it's going to be fun for me to make. So talking about the old franchise again, man, we are at such a pivotal moment in the franchise right now. Everything with Battlefield 6 I want to get into is looking really good, but I don't want us to underestimate EA's power to, for lack of a better term, EA itself all over everything and cause some issues as they have in the past. So I want to take a look at where we're at, kind of the state of Battlefield in the lead up to this, and we're on the precipice of seeing some gameplay and stuff like that, even more gameplay than has already leaked on the 31st and a full proper reveal. But it's crazy that we can't pre-order it yet, even though we shouldn't, and I've seen a lot of that sentiment online. With that being said, tons of people have said this is the do or die time for the Battlefield franchise. I would kind of argue a little bit to the contrary, because I feel like Battlefield is such a big franchise that stands on the shoulders of those giants, of the Battlefield 1s, the 4s, the 3s, the bad companies. It stands on those shoulders to where anytime a new Battlefield comes around, I even think if this one's a flop, people are at least going to give it a chance. I will say, it does feel like the leash that the community is giving this title is much shorter than the ones in the past, because the top comment on many tweets from Battlefield are, remember guys, no pre-orders, no pre-orders. So that's something to keep in mind. But it is crazy to the fact that you can't really do that right now. So what's looking good right now with Battlefield 6? The reveal trailer was awesome. We do have to say the cautionary tale of the vast majority of DICE trailers, maybe excluding the Battlefield 5 launch trailer, looks great. The trailer team always kills it. Even the Battlefield 2042 trailer was incredibly hyped with the Rendezvous moment, the weather coming in. Everybody was hyped for it. So we just have to keep that in mind. I know many of you have learned from that experience and are not having the hype train leave the station just quite yet. But we've seen a lot of gameplay. They've been really transparent with Battlefield Labs talking about the class system. We've seen a ton of leaked gameplay, and to me, it really does look like what I hoped for, like a Battlefield 5 with a modern skin and some updates here and there to make it more modernized, because I still go back and play Battlefield 5 and it's still one of the most mechanically sound Battlefields in my personal opinion. I think the movement's great. I think the gunplay's okay. It needs some work with the reticle deviation. Tanks and those aren't really well balanced in my opinion with the recharge stations that they can camp at, but I digress. Overall, from looking at leaked gameplay, it's on the right track. There is no doubt. The destruction looks on point. There's just a lot to really like in the pre-alpha gameplay. Hopefully, you know, some of the worries are with that it's not ready. If I'm the optimist, I'm saying that's going to be, they probably knew that the gameplay was going to get leaked in Battlefield Labs, so it's a very bare bones, stripped version of the engine. So it could be an old build, or, you know, there is still the chance that EA could have this thing pushed out ahead of time. Like I said, beware of EA. They could push this out before it's ready. If you guys think that the Battlefield Labs build is the final build, or where they're at most recently, then it's got a long way to go, and I don't know if they're going to get there by the seemingly October deadline. So you have that going for you. That's kind of a coin flip in my opinion, but everything looks really good. And even so far as there was some divisiveness in the community about whether weapons should be unlocked or not, if you should be able to use any weapon with any class, or if they should be class locked like some of the traditional Battlefields. Many, including myself, have advocated for class locked weapons, as it gets people, you know, even more kind of on the right track to playing Battlefield as they should. Kind of like just not super in your face, but the weapons lend themselves to kind of push you in the direction to play your role in the squad, because we're all about squad based, playing the objective, doing the role in your squad, doing recon with the sniper, you know, blowing up vehicles, you know, as an engineer, if that's what you're supposed to do, you know, medic, we all know, reviving, all that stuff. So having those kind of guns that excel in the ranges you're supposed to be playing at help get that cohesiveness going without a lot of extra fluff, and I like that. So they went so far as to say during the open beta, did you guys hear that? I'm going to say that one more time. The open beta which is presumably going to be on August 4th. That's kind of when everybody's seeing behind the scenes leaks on looking at web portals and stuff on websites about where the game files are going to be released. It sounds like very near August 4th, but it is saying an open beta. In that Battlefield tweet, they did say it would be an open beta, which is crazy because I really think they haven't done it yet. EA could still pull this off. I'm so floored. We have yet to see them say pre-order to play the closed beta early or anything like that. There is not a doubt in my mind when you have Call of Duty putting out, skin after skin slop that I'm worried about happening to this game, skin after skin of slop just to get, the last remaining whales that are there, all the money that they can out of them. A lot of people are disenfranchised with that. Battlefield has a real chance for a Battlefield 1 type year in comparison to their market share. People want to talk about you can't compare Call of Duty to Battlefield. You can't compare. They are inherently different games, but they do share the same market of first-person shooter players. There is no denying that they are vying for some of the same players. We have another chance of Battlefield 1 versus Infinite Warfare, where Infinite Warfare kind of fell out of grace with COD fans. Battlefield 1 was a solid title, in my opinion, and by most of the metrics that you're able to find. So therefore, we could be set up for another one of those years. I'm never going to say Battlefield will overtake COD, but Battlefield can hold its own and have a healthy player base. That's all any of us should care about. A fun game that holds a healthy player base where we can find games, we can have a community of people that like to have fun together. That's what Battlefield is, right? You could log in and just have a good time. And we're there, right? So when the market's in this kind of temperature where people are looking for an alternative, even with Warzone, this game is rumored to have a free-to-play battle royale that is also rumored via Tom Henderson Insider Gaming to come a couple months after launch. That makes sense. Get people to buy the premium experience, have them buy that, get as many sales as you can. When the hype kind of draws down from having a game release, you pop it in with the free-to-play battle royale. It is a story, or it is a play out of the book of Call of Duty. Byron Bede is now a part of the franchise manager of Battlefield. He did it with COD. He's doing it again here, more than likely from Tom Henderson and Insider Gaming. So a couple months after launch, we're going to see that battle royale. And there is a real chance with how Battle Royale is playing out with Warzone that we have to get a lot more new players into the game. So you have this setting up, and there is no doubt. All this to say, I'm just trying to set the temperature for the market right now between Battlefield, Call of Duty, all the players out there. You do have Arc Raiders going to get maybe caught in the crossfire here, which is crazy. There is a world where EA could probably make millions, if not tens of millions, or I don't even know, hundreds of millions of dollars, especially with the console market, in just a couple days. If they opened this thing up for pre-orders, said you can pre-order the game, money would start flowing in instantly from people that don't stay in the know online and who didn't experience the Battlefield 2042 stuff, who are all in that category, would just instantly get out their wallets. And you could even tack on, you get a couple days early access to the beta. People would come flooding into pre-order. Could that still happen? That could still happen on the 31st. But so far right now, it really looks like, in a show of good faith, this could come back to bite me. So far, I will just say how it is. So far, in a show of good faith, you can't pre-order the game. And they're talking about an open beta that's presumably going to be around August 4th after this July 31st multiplayer reveal. I'm going to say that again. You can't even pre-order it right now. So they're actually going to show us gameplay. They're not going to take all the pre-orders off the trailers. They're going to show us gameplay on the 31st and hopefully give us an open beta, and then people can decide if they want to buy it or not. Please, DICE, continue to do that. I know EA might turn the table. I feel like there's a carrot there for EA to kick those pre-orders on right away, give you a couple days early access to the beta, and there is no doubt that they would cash in. But we'll see what they say, if they say anything tomorrow on the EA earnings call. I do not know if they're going to say anything when it comes to that. So what's left? We're sitting in a really good spot. Everything we have so far, trailer, Battlefield Labs leak gameplay, DICE listening by trying out at least class-locked weapons in the upcoming open beta, not being able to pre-order. This all sounds incredible. Do not underestimate EA's power to EA. What more than likely is going to happen, one of the big ones for me, and it doesn't sound like a big deal, and all this comes from the fact that I feel like the last couple installments of Battlefield have been so bastardized that Battlefield really doesn't have that identity anymore. There are people out there, it's so long in between games, there are people out there that maybe started with Battlefield 5 or started with Battlefield 2042, and they don't know some of these things. They've been moving away from things like the server browser, for a really long time, to where, you know, Battlefield has been tweaking and changing and losing its identity so much. There's probably a decent amount of people that don't know what like a core Battlefield feels like in its heyday. And so that could lead us to losing some of the identity in this, because in the end of the day, what is Battlefield's identity, especially looking at the last few titles? So with that being said, I don't think we're going to be seeing a server browser. And while I think that is a really big deal, I would really love to see a server browser for the several reasons, but the main reason is it is really one of the ways you can, without a doubt, objectively say we don't have skill-based matchmaking. One of the things that I hate in a lot of video games, especially Call of Duty and other shooters, is engagement optimized or skill-based matchmaking. And any of you guys who have spent any time at all in Call of Duty, you know what that feels like. You have a couple really good matches and you got to know, oh goody, hold on to your butt, here it comes. And then you get absolutely stomped and world starred by elite pro players with all the fancy skins and, you know, however high prestige ranked. Because you did well, you get put into those higher lobbies. There are ways, and EA has patents, Activision has patents on how to keep people playing the game, how to keep people's stats, how to try to get people's stats around the 1.0 KD or an average KD, some people winning, some people losing, and just juggling all that to keep you online. What sucks about that is you never get to feel like you're getting better. In a game with a server browser, you guys know, spend a lot of time in Battlefield. As you get better, pretty soon you start to see it. You pull up a scoreboard, if there even is a scoreboard. Hopefully there's a scoreboard. Hopefully we learned our lesson there. In the event that your game has a scoreboard, you can actually open it up and you start to see, hey, instead of like the bottom half, I'm in the top half now. Or, you know, you put some time in, you kind of find your role, you get some more points, you get some more scores, points per minute going. Pretty soon you're in the top 5, you're in the top 2. Like every time you check the scoreboard, it feels really good. And you can do that because you're just in a randomized server that you pick. You can pick a server in the map rotation, you know, during the maps that you want to play. You're not going to play maps over and over and over again and log into the same map every time you switch servers or back out to change a loadout or something like that, which happens with skill-based matchmaking or even with just online matchmaking. You can also check and see, hey, I'm playing on this server. You can just legitimately 100% unequivocally pick the server that's closest to you with the game mode and the map that you want to play. It gives you the ultimate flexibility to play how you want to play, and it gives you the ultimate transparency to know that you're playing against a randomized set of players, and you can test your skills there if you're interested in that. That's why I think we need it, and that's why I don't think we're going to see it. I think it's going to be a big bummer, and it's going to be kind of a big mark on an otherwise cool looking game so far, is to not have a server browser, because even if there isn't a lot of skill-based matchmaking, you're never going to be able to prove it. And it's always going to feel like it's there and you're never going to know. And it's just nice to know when you pick a server that it's random, it's close to you, it's low ping, it's the map you want to play, and it's the mode you want to play. So that could still happen. Post-launch content. This is a big thing that we still know nothing about that EA could destroy with the game. We know that there could be, this game could fall into the other ones like Call of Duty, like Fortnite, like so many others, like Arena Breakout that I've been playing, into the skin economy for making post-launch content, and the skins could get crazy. And that's when you kind of start to lose me, because I know you talk about breaking my immersion, breaking your immersion or whatever, but that is kind of a thing in Battlefield. And why I would argue that like Battlefield 1 was one of the best titles. It's one of the best games, period, for immersion, with the grittiness, the darkness, the audio, and the graphics, especially for the time how that game looked. You cannot argue that you could really immerse yourself in that game. When we see Beavis and Butthead flying around the map, it just doesn't make sense, and the games start to lose their identity. So we're going to keep an eye on that. And we also keep an eye on the fact that I think, based on how studios do this kind of stuff and how publishers force them to do this kind of stuff, they make a lot of money on skins, especially like cost to profit ratio. It doesn't take as much for a few artists to work on a skin and sell it for 20 or 30 bucks, half the cost of the dang game, to then sell a bunch of those and profit a ton, rather than a bunch of teams working on making a map, which I would prefer to see, making a map and then seeing, sell the map pack for $4 or $5 for a bunch of people. It takes a lot more to make a map than it does to make skins, and they can sell a lot more, or they can sell plenty of skins, and they're way easier to make than a map. So that's why I'm worried that we're going to see a lot more skins than we are going to see actual content to play. I think where these games thrive in their longevity, I think it's harder and harder for respawn type game modes in the area, the era of, battle royales are kind of waning, extraction shooters are popping off. S&D bomb type mode games have always held on. Rainbow Six, CSGO, still really, really, really massive games. In a fact, where in a game where you run the risk of just running into the spawn, shoot, die, repeat, spawn, shoot, die, spawn, shoot, die, spawn, shoot, die, where you risk running into that, what keeps it fresh are maps and modes and things like that. So I'm really hoping post-launch content are maps, please. So we don't know if the game, it could look amazing and launch with 4 maps and then come out with 1 map every 5 months, and then it would get boring. No matter how good the game is in a respawn shooter, it's going to get boring. You're going to play the same routes every time. You're going to play the same points. You're going to go to the same spots and peek the same angles. And there just needs to be variety. And granted, having a BR to hop over to and mess around in will help with that quite a bit, I hope. But anyway, I hope with, they didn't have to pull. There is some alleged rumors that where they shut down Ridgeline Studios after Marcus Leto left, who was supposed to be working on the campaign. They had to pool resources to get that done. I'm hoping that didn't take away from our multiplayer that's being done by DICE over in Stockholm. So I hope that held together and we get a lot of maps. So I'm worried about maps. I'm worried about post-launch content, and I'm pretty much pouring one out for the homie, the server browser. So those are all things that could majorly disrupt the game. It could really hold it back, but there is no denying it right now, as it sets, before we see stuff on July 31st, that it's looking good. From everything that we've seen, it's looking really good, and I'm just not excited about it yet. I'll wait to see some stuff on July 31st, get my hands on it in the open beta. Guys, if you made it to the end of the video, thank you so much, man. It means the world to me. I used to love making these videos anytime I could. With some of my health issues with my heart, with my work changing, having 2 new children, I just haven't got to. But that doesn't mean I don't miss you guys. So if you made it to this video, to the end of this video, you're a real one. You're a blessing. I love you guys, and hope to see you on the next one.